Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me in this series. In this video, I would like to discuss the topic of social and economical programming. I already made a video about it yesterday, but I may just delete that one and gonna upload this one just to be in sync with my other videos. So first of all, it's not your mistake or it's not your fault if you don't realize your programming. The meaning of the programming is that it's so subtle so that you take it on really easy. It's really easily sinks into your subconscious. Later on, then when it's in your subconscious, you are going to cooperate with this program, and then probably you're gonna pass it on for the younger generation. So most likely this is what happened with us when we were young. We learned a lot of things from our parents, in nursery, in school, and later in the workplace. So you cannot really be upset with your parents because they taught you things you might think they are not really useful for you in your adult life, or you don't really agree with them because they could only teach you the things they experience and they've been taught. So there is no need to blame them in any shape or form. And also further in our life, the only thing we can really pass on is our experiences and our thought patterns as programs which are running in us. So what are the programs? They are thought patterns, behavior patterns, or morals, and work ethics. As I said, there is social programming and economical programming, and there is also soft and hard programming. The meaning of programming is that you agree upon it, and you don't question it, and later on you pass this program on. Because if you think about it, if everyone would be truly free to do whatever they want to do, the population would be pretty much uncontrollable. So hence there are some guidelines. Now those guidelines might be right, might be wrong. It's depending on your situation. The programming, as I said, starts in our childhood and comes mostly from our parents and later on from family and friends. Whoever we are emotionally attached, most likely we're gonna take on their words, their advice more easily. We take their truth as our truth, and we're gonna build this information in our mindset, and that's gonna be part of who we are. That's why it's really hard to detach from information or advice coming from family and friends, I would say. Family usually teaches us social programming, how to behave, teaching us manners, teaching us how to behave in public. Let's say to stand up and give up your seat if you see that there is an elderly person so they can sit down, to open the door in front of women, and so on and so on. That's okay, there is nothing wrong with this. So we all need to have some manners and kindness. Do we really need manners? Yes, we do, and no, we don't. Yes, we do. So our communication and behavior between each other is easier and also more recognizable. because it's already been decided that this is something um, like something we should follow, let's say like a good manner or bad manner. But I always say, and I said this in another video too, that a good heart shines through, and it's more important than having manners. So if it comes from the heart, your behavior, um, most likely people gonna recognize it and they gonna accept it. If they don't, then it means that they are too stuck up on how one should or shouldn't behave. So that's that, and then we're going to nursery. So in a nursery, there is also a soft programming, and with family and friends, that's a hard programming already. So nursery soft programming, we have like a system. So we have playtime, we have sleep time, and we have like meal time. That already teaches you that there is a routine what you have to follow later on in life. Okay, that also can be good and bad, depending. Then we go to school where we learn also uh, information, and we also spend there 6 to 8 hours. And again, the routine is not up to us, but up to our governor and up to the teachers. The information we learn, it's not necessarily useful and it's not necessarily bad. In my opinion, the only problem with this is that we don't really learn how to think for ourselves. So we learn to take in information as truth. We spend time to learn this information and then we get grades regarding how much of this information we can give back. Is this really useful in everyday life? Well, it depends. So I think the problem with that, personally, I think the problem with that is that we don't learn really to distinct, to make a distinction between information, how to search for information, and also the other problem is the problem with authority. That's usually, anyway, it does come up usually around the teenage years, although now I think it's a bit earlier. So we also learn that there is always somebody higher above us who takes care of us and also knows what's best for us. And I think this is fundamentally the problem, how we've been brought up, because we really are not learning how to think for ourselves. And obviously there is, when we go further in life, we have the work environment, which is exactly the same hierarchy. Now, all this programming is built in to control you in a way that you are the most productive in your social gatherings and also in for the economy. It doesn't really leave much space for you as a person to develop. How can you be sure that the programming you are following, the programs you're following, are not beneficial for you? Now, if in this time in your life you find that you're following someone else's, or generally you're following what you've been taught from childhood, you try to be a good sister, you try to be a good wife or husband, and you try to be a productive colleague, because this is kind of your job in life, or this is what they kind of teach you. And you're doing all this, and you might realize that you're not going anywhere with your life. It could be financial, it could be emotional, and it could be that simply you don't feel that you are growing, you feel that you're living the same year time and time again for 70, 60, 70 or 80 or 90 or 100 years. So then there is there's something wrong with that, because ultimately you are not growing, you are not changing, you are not developing yourself. Now you might say that you don't even want this. Then it's okay, you can just carry on following these things, these guidelines in life, and just live your life by them. The problem is when you realize that you are not happy, or you are most likely you are not fulfilled. So then you have to look around and see your programs. I would suggest that you write down every program runs in you. Your thought patterns, if you are a pessimistic, if you are an optimistic, what are you thinking, what is generally the thought pattern in your family or in your friends. And try to make a distinction, what is it, what is not beneficial for you. Probably in the first time it's not gonna be too easy, because you really have to peel yourself back, just like when you're peeling an onion, to see what is there. And then you might realize that all what is you is someone else's ideas, projected feelings, behavior patterns, thought processes, triggers, and so on and so on. Then you have to find out, and you have to search for who are you, what are you. I would say this is a mystery. Every person is a mystery, and your job is to find the key to your own mystery. Okay, this is a bit too poetic, but generally this is what it is. So, so then you would see these thought patterns which gonna emerge, and then you can decide which one you wanna keep and which one you want to change. Now, how do you decide? As I said, if you're following the same rules, the same guidelines, the same programs, and they are not beneficial for you, hence you're not seeing any development in a positive way, most likely you will have to change them. It really is up to you, what do you want to achieve in your life. So I cannot really give you a perfect example. I can only give you a generic example for this. Then again, you will have to decide if you, at this moment in your life, the information or the advice you are getting from others, where does it coming from? It mostly family and friends, because I don't think you would take advice from the work environment, apart from the economic, because of the economic programming. But so it's most likely family and friends. So you will have to decide how to, I'm not saying to cut out them from your life, but how to consciously realize that those advices are not beneficial for you, and how to make them understand that you're not gonna follow it, for them not to be upset. That's also a task in itself. But you can just write it down and see what kind of thought patterns runs in the family, and the circle of friends you are involved with, and see if it really is important in your life at this moment. Because our morals, hopefully they are not changed. Also, I would say that they are changing, but or ethics are definitely changing, and we always change what is the most important for us during our life, regarding what we wanna develop in our life, what we're gonna put back in a back burner, and so on and so on. So you write it all down. That would be my practice for you, to see if you can if you can find as much as you can think of, and see how they are mirror your family and friends, or how they are how they are different from your family and friends' thought patterns, and then to see if you can change it. Also, we will change it later on, but that's just to be conscious about it. Also, it is important to say that sometimes we get perfectly good advice or information and we discard it straight on without even thinking about it, because the ideology they present is 180 it's 180 degrees different than ours, so it's absolutely the opposite. And why is it? That is also coming from our programming. But sometimes it's good to step back a bit and although this is the catch 22, but to basically you would need to stand back and try to look at it like quite scientifically. So don't get emotional with this, and see if you this would happen with someone else. That's the best example I can give to you how not to get emotionally attached to it or get emotional when you do all this, and not to get upset really, is that you look at it like you would look at a worksheet, like just take it like a homework, you know, worksheet or a sheet of information, and then you really think about it, you feel it, if it's really working out for you or it's not working out for you. That would be my advice for you. Also, there is something we have to mention when we are talking about programming, and that is the positive and negative distinctions in our life. That is also there. So, you know, when you are working and doing things as you should, then you're gonna get positive distinction, you're gonna get a praise. And if you don't, you're gonna get negative distinction. And then that also gets into your subconscious and it's gonna be part of who you are. Negative distinction, I would like to just give an example because I think it might be more interesting. When they tell that a child is difficult, as a child, you cannot really do anything with this information apart from taking it as truth. And so if you hear this long enough, it's gonna go into your subconscious thinking that, yeah, I am difficult. What does it mean? It just means that the normal handling of any other child is not working with you. Later on, you might get the rebel and the black sheep. It's all the same. And then finally, we might get the midlife crisis when people really wanna turn their life upside down, because this is, I would say, the last call of the soul, of your heart, saying that, hey, listen to me, you are not developing, you are not fulfilling your life, you are in this vicious cycle and you are not don't seem to get anywhere. So that's why it's good to not to wait that long. Although the longer we live, the harder it is to change our programs. But it can be changeable, it is doable. So I would suggest, if you would like, to try out this. It's not an exercise, just really try to collect your thoughts and write them down regarding how you think, how you feel about different things, what kind of thoughts and feelings and behaviors running in your family, and see how much you take, how much did you take from them, how much did you take from your friends, and where are you, who are you, and is this something you want to carry on doing, or is there something you would like to change for you to be able to develop, to become better, so then you can help yourself and ultimately you can help others if you want to. But I think if we help ourselves, that's already like the best thing we could do. So I think I will finish this here now. I think I said everything I wanted to say. I thank you very much for watching this. I am going to leave the other video on too. Hopefully the two is gonna complement each other. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you next Monday with the sentences, I hope. Thank you and bye.